Imagine one of the world's fastest-growing economies suddenly using less of its most relied-upon energy source, just as global demand for clean power reaches a fever pitch. That's exactly what happened in India last month, a country often seen as the heartbeat of Asia's energy future. But is this a one-off event, or the start of something far bigger? India's economic surge over the past 2 decades has been powered, quite literally, by coal. For years, coal-fired plants delivered more than 70% of the nation's electricity, fueling everything from gleaming tech hubs to steel foundries and bustling train stations. In 2020, the country consumed nearly 700 million tons of coal, making it the world's second-largest coal importer and the 4th biggest buyer of liquefied natural gas. The power sector alone gobbled up more than 2/3 of that black gold, while steel and cement factories competed for the rest. But India's relationship with coal was never just about economics. In the 1970s, the government nationalized coal mines to keep the lights on and factories running. With every economic reform, from the landmark Electricity Act of 2003 to the National Action Plan on Climate Change in 2008 and the Paris Agreement in 2015, the country promised to balance growth with environmental protection. Policymakers began rallying around solar and wind, launching mega-projects like Rajasthan's Bhadla Solar Park and Karnataka's Pavagada Solar Park, each boasting more than 2 gigawatts of capacity. And now, something remarkable is happening. According to official data and a Reuters analysis, May saw India's sharpest drop in coal-fired electricity in 5 years. Coal power generation slid by nearly 10% year-on-year to just over 113 billion kilowatt-hours. For the first time since the pandemic, overall electricity demand fell, thanks to cooler temperatures and softer economic activity. In the same month, renewables, solar, wind, hydro, and nuclear, surged to a record high, now making up more than 15% of the power mix. Wind turbines in Gujarat, solar panels in Rajasthan, and hydro dams in Himachal Pradesh delivered unprecedented output. Natural gas power didn't escape the shift either. Output from gas-fired stations plummeted by almost half, marking the steepest fall in nearly 3 years. Analysts from iEnergy note that even during peak summer, when the grid usually groans under demand, the appetite for fossil fuels remained muted. Demand from the power sector, typically strong during peak season, remained limited, they wrote. Asian liquefied natural gas prices have fallen by more than 15% this year, while thermal coal prices reached their lowest in over 4 years, shaped by declining demand from both China and India. These numbers are more than just statistics. They signal a possible crossroads for a nation of over 1.4 billion people. As Tim Buckley from IEFA puts it, India's renewable energy tariffs have now fallen below the cost of new coal-fired power, making renewables the obvious economic choice. But shifting a nation's power grid is no easy feat. Hydropower climbed by over 8%, yet coal still supplies more than 70% of India's electricity, down but far from out. The stakes could not be higher. The government dreams of installing 450 gigawatts of renewables by 2030. But as the world's eyes turn to India, a pivotal question looms. Can the country's grid, economy, and workforce adapt quickly enough, or will the promise of clean power collapse under the weight of reality? The answer isn't just about megawatts and money. It's about the future of energy, jobs, and the fragile balance between growth and sustainability. So, what obstacles stand in the way of India's green energy revolution? And what risks and opportunities lie ahead for the world's most populous democracy? So, what does the future really hold for India's green energy transition? Is the country on the brink of an energy revolution, or are there storm clouds on the horizon? Imagine one possible path: strong government support, rapid technological breakthroughs, and major international partnerships. In this high renewables scenario, India unleashes the potential of its vast solar and wind resources. New solar parks in Rajasthan and Karnataka, already boasting over 20 gigawatts combined, become symbols of national pride. The wind sector, with a staggering estimated potential of nearly 700 gigawatts, begins to power not just megacities, but also remote villages. Transmission lines stretch across deserts and coasts, connecting green power from Bhadla and Pavagada to homes, factories, and electric vehicles nationwide. Millions of new jobs are created as the clean energy workforce grows. But the path ahead is anything but guaranteed. As Debasish Mishra from Deloitte warns, integrating large-scale renewables comes with real challenges. Grid modernization, energy storage, and workforce training are all critical. In a moderate scenario, coal remains a big player. Cleaner coal tech and carbon capture could slow the decline of fossil fuels, but these solutions are expensive and unproven at the scale India needs. This would mean ongoing emissions, tough choices for coal-dependent communities, and pressure to attract foreign investment. And then there's the riskier picture. Delays, outdated policies, and lackluster investments stall the momentum. In such a world, coal still dominates, pollution rises, and India's air quality and global reputation suffer. This would make it almost impossible to meet international climate commitments, threatening both the environment and the economy. The International Energy Agency projects that India's energy demand could double by the year 2040. If the country cannot rapidly scale up renewables, the consequences for health, agriculture, and urban life could be dire. So what are the practical lessons here for you, the viewer? First, India's story is more than just numbers on a chart. It is a living case study in how difficult, yet crucial, the energy transition will be for every fast-growing nation. If you are an investor, an entrepreneur, or a student, India's push into renewables is a signal. The industries of the future will be built on clean technology, digital infrastructure, and sustainability. The price of renewables has already fallen below new coal in India, as Tim Buckley of IEFA points out. This changes the business equation permanently. Second, the challenges India faces, grid upgrades, energy storage, policy consistency, are not unique. Countries everywhere must coordinate between government, industry, and communities. The success or failure of India's green energy shift will offer lessons for the world: how to manage social change, keep electricity reliable, and retrain millions from declining sectors like coal. And here's a secret few outside the industry realize. One of India's greatest assets is not just sunlight or wind, but its ability to quickly scale new technologies when the right incentives are in place. Remember, India went from less than 5 gigawatts of installed solar in the year 2015 to over 70 gigawatts in just a decade. If that same pace can be applied to battery storage, smart grids, and clean hydrogen, the country could leapfrog into a new era of energy leadership. So, can India deliver on its bold renewable promises? The answer is yes, but only if it navigates the major risks ahead with urgency, innovation, and collaboration. The journey will not be easy. Coal still powers more than 70% of India's electricity, and millions depend on the sector for their livelihoods. But as history shows, with the right policies, investment, and public support, transformation on a massive scale is possible. If you want to stay ahead of the next big global shift, keep watching stories like India's. What happens here will shape the climate, the economy, and the energy future for billions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. What do you think is India's biggest opportunity or risk in its energy transition? Let's start a conversation.